Hi my lovelies, welcome back to today's video. Now today's video is my labour and delivery story with this little monkey, with Kelsey, and it is going up on her actual birthday as kind of memory of the first time we met her. So let's get straight into this video. Okay, so it's going to start 2 weeks before Kelsey was actually born. So Kelsey's her actual due date was the 27th of June, 2023. Now, when I was 36 weeks pregnant, I had a consultant's appointment, and I had a scan before the appointment, and she was measuring, let's say, quite a big baby. So my consultant said about being induced. So he was explaining to me about the induction process, how they would use a balloon, and then after that it would then obviously progress. So we got told to wait for the phone call to tell us when to go in for our induction. So on the 13th of June, we had a phone call saying I needed to go in that day at 2 p.m. to start my induction. So once we got into the hospital, obviously we filled in some paperwork. They were talking to me and Nick, and then they checked my cervix and found that it was soft, and I was already sitting at 3 centimeters dilated. That is then when they obviously informed us that I couldn't have the balloon fitted, because anything above 3, you can't have the balloon. So I basically got told that I'm staying in till Kelsey was born, but it's now just not going to be through the balloon. So me and Nick kind of made it our mission. We was curb walking, I was walking up and down stairs, I was doing squats, I was bouncing on the birthing ball. You know, there's literally everything. I will insert a clip right now of me on the birthing ball. You recording me?
Bouncy.
Okay, so probably about 6 o'clock in the evening, I then got checked. I was still 3 centimeters dilated. So the plan was then to obviously go straight to breaking my waters, but I couldn't be moved to the labour and delivery because it was quite busy. So basically I had to wait for a bed to become available in the labour and delivery ward. So me and Nick was, you know, just relaxing, spending the last, basically, potentially hours, days before we had Kelsey. Nick then went home, I think it was about 9 o'clock in the evening. I had been on the monitor, so they put me on the monitor at certain points during the day and everything. I slept really well, in all fairness. I did wake up like once or twice, but it was a general good sleep compared to obviously being in hospital. So the next morning I was up at 8 o'clock because they brought breakfast around, and I went outside to get some fresh air, because obviously it's quite hot in hospital and I just needed a breather. I was on the phone to Nick, and then I had a phone call on my phone. So obviously I hung up the phone to Nick on video call. I answered the phone and it was basically the labour and delivery saying that, am I like still in the hospital? I was like, yeah, I'm just outside for some fresh air. Basically I was being moved to the labour and delivery ward. So I then rang Nick back and I was like, right, I am being moved to the labour and delivery. You need to get down here, kind of thing. He was like, okay. So they moved me onto the labour and delivery ward. I was in the first room, so room 1. And I was talking to the midwife. She obviously said about bursting my waters, so my membrane. So I was like, that's fine. She was like, do you want to wait for your husband? I was like, no, let's just crack on with that. So she broke my waters at 11:06, I think it was. And just as she'd literally broken my waters, Nick and my mother-in-law walked through the door. So she was like, can you wait outside, please? For about an hour, 2 hours, nothing really happened. I wasn't having contractions, nothing like that. So again, we went out for walking, curb walking, you name it, to try and get this baby out. when we got back, they then said to me about going on the drip, the Pittoxkin or something I think it's called. So I got put on the drip. It started off at a low dosage. I had a few contractions, but they were very, very mild contractions. Like at some points I didn't even know I was having a contraction. So that was when it was decided that they were going to turn my hormonal drip up. So they actually, it went from a very low dosage to a very high dosage, and literally within 5 minutes of my dosage being higher, my contractions was coming every 2 to 3 minutes, and then within, I think it was a matter of like half hour, they were back to back, and they were more painful. At first I was coping very well with the labour. I had no pain relief at all, and then halfway through I kind of was like, no, they are getting a lot more painful, can I please have some gas and air? So they gave me gas and air. Amazing, loved it. They didn't check me throughout the labour of like how many centimetres dilated I was. They didn't check that. And then I then started saying, I need a poo, which obviously means we are ready. So we got prepared and I started pushing. The pushing stage, I think it was about 20-25 minutes. It didn't take that long. But oh my God, it was painful. It was very painful, guys. And I got told later it's because of the drip, because obviously it's being forced into labour. The contractions are a lot stronger. And I was like, yeah, I definitely felt that one. So at 16:23, Kelsey was born. She got placed on my chest. This is the first picture that me and Kelsey had together. And I didn't have the injection in my leg to help with the placenta. They were like, we'll just get this placenta out. I was like, okay, that's fine. And very quickly after Kelsey was born, within about 5 minutes, it was apparent that something was very much wrong. So my placenta wasn't coming out at all. I had midwives rushing in, head midwives, doctors was coming in, consultants was coming in, and no one could get my placenta out. So that was when I got rushed into theatre. From this moment on, I cannot really remember what happened. I can remember bits, but I can't remember all of it. So I got rushed down to theatre. They tried to give me the epidural whilst I was laying down. That didn't work, so I had to be sat up. I can't remember nothing till I got wheeled into the recovery room. I was in the recovery room, I think it was till about 8:30, and then I got taken back upstairs. So I missed about 4 to 5 hours with Kelsey after she was born. I had about 10 minutes with her, and I didn't see her for 5 hours later. When I got back to her, Nick and his mum informed me that, yeah, my placenta obviously didn't break away from my womb. I'd lost 3 litres of blood. And yeah, obviously going into theatre, they kind of pulled it apart and got the thing out of me. So obviously I had a catheter in. I was numb from my waist down. I had about an hour with Nick and his mum with Kelsey, and then they obviously left. And that was kind of when me and Kelsey was alone, just by ourselves. So this is the picture probably about 10 minutes after Nick and his mum left. And it was, I fell asleep. She had me up, I think it was twice every 3 hours. And then the midwives, oh dear, the midwives woke me up, taking me onto the postnatal ward. I couldn't have a shower because it was early in the morning, so they helped me give a strip wash. Obviously they took the catheter out, and we got moved to the postnatal ward. Nick rang me about 6 o'clock in the morning saying, "Where are you?" So I obviously had to tell him where we was. We had our own private room, and yeah, it was a very traumatic after part of the labour, but it made it worth it, didn't it, for you? Yeah, was it worth it for you? But yeah, guys, oh, thank you. Mwah. 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 I'm not sure if you're trying to give me a kiss or bite my lip there. But yeah, so we was in hospital for a total of 2 days. Because I was on sertraline, they obviously had to monitor Kelsey for any kind of withdrawals, which she didn't have. But our kind of time after the delivery was fine. I had 2 iron transfusions because of obviously losing the 3 litres of blood. I was very lucky I didn't need a blood transfusion. The iron transfusions was sufficient enough to make me feel better. I was then, obviously, I had Fragmin, which is a blood thinning injection for 2 months after her delivery, so for 8 weeks. I got given iron tablets as well, and then obviously after we had the final checks and everything, we was allowed to go home. So after the initial newborn check, she was having checks obviously because of the potential withdrawal from the sertraline drug when she was in my womb. They found she had clicky hips, so we had to obviously wait for scans and different stuff like that. The overall experience of a labour was painful because of the drip, but it was an amazing. The postpartum part of it was very traumatic, not just for me but for Nick. I missed 5 hours with her, and it was hard, but it is so worth it. So that is her labour and delivery story. So I hope you guys enjoyed it, and we will see you in our next video.